Hello, everybody. Welcome into the final day here of the IESF Americas qualifier. South America concluded, of course, as it was finished off yesterday. It's Argentina, and it is indeed Chile qualifying through after beating out Team Brazil in that very final game for all the marbles. But we are now on the North American side of things. A few more teams in here, right, to consider. So Group A, Group B, we have the United States and Panama qualifying through, Canada and Costa Rica out from Group B, and now the semi-finals to contend with. Here on stream, it does seem that there may well be a grand final going down, but ultimately, whoever wins out in the semis will be qualifying through. That's what we're focusing on. That's what we're looking into.
Yeah, exactly. I think, obviously the final is sort of for seeding, but in a way not. So it might not actually end up getting played. Ultimately, what matters is, booking these two spots, confirming who's going to be making it to the World Esports Championship, and concluding what has been a good qualifier so far. As the Americans like to call it, Super Sunday here on the broadcast as we're ready for this one. And we have, of course, the United States in our first game to be looking at, and they'll be taking on Costa Rica. Panama will be then taking on Canada. So yeah, interesting times, safe to say. Maybe a couple of teams here who I hadn't heard too much from. Costa Rica and Panama, for example, I had not heard a lot of Counter-Strike coming from that region, but I'm glad to see them have been competitive, playing good CS, especially Costa Rica's story yesterday with that reverse sweep was really, really impressive, especially when at one point Guatemala, they'd hit 12. They were about to lock in the series and book themselves a spot here, and they, fumbled it. You hate to say it, but Costa Rica gladly took that opportunity, pushed it to a third map, and here they are. They're playing our first game later on this evening at 3 a.m. As you can see, for us here in Europe, it will be kind of the taking on of Panama to conclude, so you will get that final spot.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very interested to see how that game goes down, actually, in all honesty. We do have Team USA coming in as sort of our clear favorite, definitely should be qualifying, definitely should be winning their semi. Costa Rica, going to be tough for them, to say the least. They had a bit of a closer run against Ecuador, a little more difficult for them against Team Canada, but of course it was that sort of Guatemala game that paints a bit of a picture where I think USA, they've had one map that's been slightly stressful. Saying that, we've maybe not seen loads and loads out from them, not massive tests. They got an FF win, a forfeit win against Panama for that third round match in Group A, just because both of them had already qualified in. Panama, I suppose, didn't fancy it, wanted the evening off to put some more time in. But on the other side of things, I will say last night on Inferno, Canada let Ecuador bring it kind of close. So we'll see what happens in that second game. I think they still feel like the favorites, still have a pretty good run, but there's maybe a chance in there because Panama's Group A side of things was also quite clean, So we'll see. They've only really played one game, though, actually, looking at it here. We didn't get to cover them, as you have mentioned. And Honduras, who maybe came in as our weaker team in the end, not even getting double digits on a single map, despite playing 6 maps in total. But Panama beat them and then got a forfeit win against Colombia and forfeited their game against USA. So actually, we've seen like 9 rounds of Counter-Strike from Panama or something. That they've lost, something like no. So 11 rounds in total they've lost. So not a lot of CS coming in from that team actually. So it's going to be a bit interesting. But of course, that's for our second game. We do have US versus Costa Rica.
Yeah, exactly. This one should be pretty exciting. I mean, Costa Rica have impressed us. They've looked good at times as well, and I think there's been a lot on offer. However, they do come against arguably the juggernaut of this qualifier in that of the United States, right? This side have been so strong all the way through. They really haven't felt too much pressure. I think it's pretty safe to say. Top of their group, plus 34 round difference, only losing 18 rounds across the 3 matches they played. I mean, that in itself is pretty substantial. So I look at this with a lot of hope for United States to book that spot. I would say that for me, they're the real favorites coming in towards this one. We'll have to see in the server if that is the case. Of course, this is the United States lineup coming through. We have got the Perseverance lineup of Gabe, MDS, Louis, Shutout, and the main man, in all fairness, Kojamo. He was incredible in the groups. One of the maps, 31. The map before that as well in the same series, 24, had like a ridiculous 2-0 where he was a walking highlight reel. Other time we caught them as well, more of the same, right? I think every time we've caught him on the stream, he's been at least, if not the top fragger, in that top 2. So he's been absolutely flying. But the real scary thing is that he isn't the only facet of firepower here in the United States. A lot of different people have stepped up at different times. I thought Gabe had a really good couple of moments too at one point. MDS was doing really decent jobs on the CT side, looking very good in the anchor, very good on rotates as well. And the United States have so many different areas of where they can get firepower. Costa Rica, this is going to be a tough one.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I think they're going to know that coming in. And it, for me, feels like it is another one of those angles that we've taken a couple times where Costa Rica have to try and take a map, try and bring one close, you know, and just really walk away with their heads held high. The USA, it feels like actually even moving into, and maybe we're speaking ahead of things, but moving into the World Esports Championships themselves would probably be a bit of a favorite, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? So they're set on that spot. They're feeling just as we are that they should be able to lock it in. There is a world in which, though, this Costa Rica team catch them a bit off guard and indeed make them work for it. And as I say, walk away. Maybe we see them try and build up that Costa Rican counter-strike and come back next year into the next round of qualifiers. But we have the roster here, of course. Lighter, Mata Tontos, who indeed comes down as one of our favorites there on the AWP, JBC, XYZ, and BJM. So they had a lot of fun names for us yesterday. We had a good time with that. But some pretty good looking players here, I have to say. Mata, like I just mentioned, on that AWP was pretty consistent throughout. Really, really good sort of mid-round kind of AWPing from him ultimately. And then BJM felt like a really clean entry player on that T side.
Yeah, I also want to throw out, I thought Lighter had a couple of moments where he actually looked quite good as an individual. I think maybe position-wise doesn't get the best of choices, but I thought when he was called upon, he did a really, really decent job. So this Costa Rica side on the other side, you know, we've said that, I mean, we've built up this narrative of, you know, United States are the favorites coming into this, but that's not to discredit Costa Rica. They have talent. We saw it yesterday. I mean, even pulling off that reverse where they 12-9 down on map 2. They'd already lost map 1, and it looks like they're about to lose 2-0 in the series, be eliminated from contention of a World Esports Championship spot and not make it to the playoffs. They dig deep, push it to overtime, go near flawless in overtime as well, and then took that third map. So for me, there's definitely a side that you can't sleep on at all. And the big thing is, I know United States have had a pretty easy run of it so far, and I think there's no debates there, right? They haven't really been tested in any of their series. The big thing for me is making sure that they don't come in too lackadaisical into this. We've got our maps. Anubis is where we'll kickstart things. Inferno, our map number 2. And if we need to Mirage, our decider, of course, the decider in which Costa Rica were able to pick up the win on yesterday too. So they don't mind that being that decider.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think that this is a really, really keen kind of veto. And, you know, the nuke was an angle that Team USA have taken against quite a few teams. It's obviously a bit of a challenge to play against, but the Anubis has also come out in both of their series, right? It was the decider against Honduras and not required, but they also, I think, have kind of come into this tournament, and maybe this is the way that they approach things in your ECLs and whatnot as well, the sort of competition that they're trying to hit at the higher North American level, where they're working on these maps that are a little harder, right? In theory, Anubis still quite fresh for a good amount of teams, and definitely at this sort of level. And then the nuke is that hyped up team play, I think, that can be really, really difficult to work around if you're not ready for it. So we'll see. Inferno, though, Mirage, though, they are these leveler maps that we like to talk about, where you can just sort of look at it as a point of, okay, we don't have to worry about our game so much. We don't have to, you know, really look at the sort of anti-stratting. We feel pretty comfortable on this battlefield, and so therefore they should be able to make it work and hopefully, you know, bring a close game, a close map here or there.
Exactly that. The one thing that I was a little bit questioned to see in the sense of the ban that comes through, USA banning our Ancient. I actually thought it was quite a good map for them. However, I think they've probably looked over towards Group B and seen that it's actually come up in nearly all of Costa Rica's series in some way, and they've actually got a decent success rate on it. You know, they played against Guatemala, but they didn't lose it. But they played it against Ecuador and won, and it was even in Variant saying, oh no, it wasn't, but it was one of the maps that was in consideration. It went deep into what's our second wave ban against Canada. But actually, Canada got rid of it. So it is a map that I feel like Costa Rica are pretty happy to play with. And even though United States look so good on it, right? We saw them get a 13-2. They looked like they had absolutely no issues. I think this is one of those where they're like, let's not risk it. Let's maybe allow things to go to a little bit more of an even map, like a Mirage, and see what we can do there. But we're expecting big things nonetheless coming into us as Vito. We saw United States on Anubis. They looked very, very good. They played it against Colombia, who honestly, when I looked at them, I thought they were actually pretty decent on Dust 2. But the Anubis wasn't really close. It was a 13-6, and it was pretty one-sided. The rounds that Colombia picked up were more mistakes from the United States rather than Colombia especially looking great in that situation. And that's the big thing. You know, I think it's all well and good doing it in the groups because you know you have room to play with. For the United States, this is just one best of three. There isn't really that much room for error here. I really hope that they don't come in too lax on this. I know they'll see themselves as the favorites. I've had a chance to speak to a couple of them as well, and they feel very, very confident coming into this, which is great. You should have confidence. They are a side who haven't been tested so far yet to drop a map. However, you can't take your foot off the gas at the finish line. You've got to make sure that you see this one home in a comfortable fashion. And I'm sure that'll be at the forefront of their minds. Booking a LAN in November for the World Esports Championships in Riyadh is going to be a top priority for these guys. So I'm very doubtful that we'll see them come in too lax towards this. So I'm expecting big things.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And again, you know, further down the line as well, we got that grand final and everything. They will want to be taking this as cleanly and as simply as possible. Trying to not drop a map, I think, would be a really good message to send into that LAN again, where, you know, you look across the board and similar to what's happening for Team USA here. I mean, we've seen it pretty egregiously with Team Brazil, but I'm sure, you know, you've been covering all the regions, right? So you might have a bit more of an ear in this, but there are a few teams out there that are a little bit scary, you know, a few spring to mind, right, in the European region where you maybe have the likes of Albania and stuff like this. There's a few teams that have a lot of firepower there that can be really, really worrying. So USA, I think, have to prove to themselves and to the rest of the crop that they are a contender, that they can worry you. Because, you know, you might look at a country like Sweden or Denmark and think that they will just sort of bring in, like, I don't know, Astralis or something. But unfortunately, those players, those teams obviously have a very high level of competition to focus on, so can't be fielded, similar to, you know, the Olympics that we've got going on right now. And I think that means a team like USA can come in and still take out some of the scarier teams, some of the scarier countries, because it's not going to be that top 5% of players that are making it through to Riyadh. So USA, I think they've got a really good chance on the international stage.
I will throw out the caveat there of they had a pretty similar team last year and finished nearly last. So I will just throw it out there. They finished 17th to 20th. Didn't make out of the groups. They actually finished second to last in their groups, only picked up one win. And that's a group with Indonesia, Czech Republic, North Macedonia, Serbia, and Algeria. Their win being over Algeria. But they lost to Indonesia, lost to Czech Republic, lost to North Macedonia, lost to Serbia. So I will throw out there, Kojo and Louis were present last time. It was a slightly different core, I think, as well back then. They had Austin playing at the time, for example, but things didn't go well. I like the Copium a little bit, and I love the North American guys, but I most definitely would not sleep on the teams that were the top dogs last year. I mean, you know, even looking at teams like Ultimate Tax, for example, Team Germany, they finished second last year. Team Germany with a completely different, it was big academy back then, but Ultimate Tax is a really, really good. Team Sweden are bound to put forward a very, very strong side. It might even be like the core of like Metasport, for example, who obviously pretty decent. We know all too well about them. Maybe even individuals like kind of Fuzi, for example, who's now got a stint over in North America. Serbia, they've always had very good teams. So yeah, I definitely think they need to finish this qualifier with a lot of confidence and then really work on things heading in towards the LAN, because there's a lot of scary teams, especially from Europe in particular. I mean, there's a lot of them who come from Team Turkey. If that ends up being that team that go through, they honestly could be on to go potentially the whole way. Wakadia, Emor, Jota, Xcloud, M-Star. I mean, these are top players as well. Xcloud and Jota, you know, they've been on a heat streak with Sangao recently, winning nearly every competition that they're playing. We know how good Wakadia is. Emor is on the bench of Eternal Fire. We still know he gets good reps under his belt. So I would say they're going to have to fight hard, right? And I think, you know, last year they probably would have came in with some level of confidence, but we know how it went, right? Finishing in that bottom rung, right? So didn't make out of the groups, second to last in their group in what was one of the easier groups. So North America do need to, or the United States, man, I do need to really dig deep, win this one cleanly, then head in towards this, I guess, sort of few months in between, and make sure that they can really work hard. There's a lot of scary teams already set up there, and we haven't even decided who's making it through from the Asian Championship or the African Championship yet as well. So it could even be even more scary. For now, though, however, server issues and all the rest, we're getting all the players in the server. So rather than us rambling and waffling endlessly, we're going to throw this one to a quick break. Stick tight. We'll see you soon.
Yo, welcome back in here, folks. Thank you very much for your patience on that one. Just a few issues. Getting the players in, I think we should be about ready to get things going. Still ever so slightly in the dark about things, but obviously, you know, we want to be on cam here and ready to go, really, just give you guys some action. Of course, if you are maybe just joining us and you missed a little bit of the pregame here, it is United States up against Costa Rica. Team USA come in as the clear favorites for this qualifier.
Yes.
Even coming into it ahead of the games, compared to the rest of the teams, these guys were the ones to watch. And they have looked absolutely fantastic, right? Barely dropping any rounds across the course of their 3 series.
They've just looked great. I mean, it's as simple as that. I mean, they've got a plus 34 round difference, not dropped a map. I mean, if we're being completely honest, not being tested in a map, I think is also probably the correct way of putting it. United States have had a pretty smooth sail through the groups, now in towards this playoffs, and a good opportunity now to close this qualifier out with some success. But they've got to go through Costa Rica first. We are live. Finally, everybody in the server as Anubis about to kick start. It is our penultimate game here on the stream to see who's going to be booking these 2 spots. United States versus Costa Rica. Only one of them can go through. The other one has to wait till next year's qualifiers.
Indeed. Feels like such a difficult run for Costa Rica. They really put their heart and soul into the game yesterday, but we shall see here. In and around A main is where the bloodbath is going to go down. Ooh. And, well, it is Costa Rica to come out on top. Mata catches them sort of on top of each other. Couldn't trade him out. Couldn't heal. And we'll see here. Looking pretty clean. However, these individuals still standing, still capable. The A main smoke will keep them at bay for now. Probably have to go through this without the kit. They don't really have any options.
There's also something always about AWPers and pistol rounds, and maybe something on here. Kojo in a 1v2. Mata's still alive on the other side as well, so the other AWPer might be able to do some damage. Is still in play. Opted for the dualies in this fight, Kojo. And to be fair, so has Mata. Tapping away, hoping to bait out the engagement. He's low, and he is dead. Mata going to see him off. Costa Rica get the first round. Nicely done. And a little bit of BM as well, as Costa Rica really trying to get this mental game underway. Try and get in their heads and try and make them feel a little bit of pressure on the doors. That's good work. Real nice work. I don't think United States can opt for too much of a force here. I think the best way to go about it, take it slow, pump the brakes, buy in towards the next of the rifles, and go head-to-head with Costa Rica. But it should mean a 2-0 start for the T side.
Alrighty. Little bit of pressure here from Team USA. And again, you have to be careful with a team like this. Give them an inch and they will indeed take a mile. Slow roll at the moment, though. Not really looking to take too many fights on the Costa Rica side of things. XYZ kind of knows what's up, right? Flash spots a couple, etc. He's going to drop back. And they will take that B-bomb site, so it should be all good here. XYZ still kind of sticking around. Nice and clean from him. Costa Rican players looking good. Hitting the ground running. Clearly been doing a bit of warm-up action before this, as no real mistakes from a mechanical standpoint just yet.
All right. Any exits would be nice from DS here. I don't think it's going to happen. Pick up the 5-7 though. Might give him a chance. It's not too bad. At least for exits, it might be able to get him 1, potentially 2. In the right hand, this gun can rip a couple of heads. But unfortunately for him, I don't think they're going to exit out his way. They're going in the complete opposite direction. So it's going to be Costa Rica getting a flawless second on the board. I mean, JBC's sticking around just in case there was a late push there. But both sides realize, a bit of a handshake, saying we're not going to make a difference here in this 1v5. And just like that, Costa Rica 2-0. Nice and easy. Nothing really that we can discuss in that one. It was a throwaway round. Minimal investment coming through from the United States. They try and go aggressive. I don't mind this. If you're on these low buys, I do normally dislike when teams on low buys like this go for just like a complete default. You're just not going to win in firepower. So I like getting active there. I think that's actually the right way to play it. Maybe you can overwhelm somebody, catch a rifle, maybe give it a chance, this, that, and the other. But all the United States cared about was buying some time to set themselves up for this full buy. So the reinvestment comes through. They'll know what weaponry has come into the table as well for Costa Rica. As well, no one died, so there's no rebuys back in.
Ooh, early tag onto Kojimo here. Pretty good look for Costa Rica. Barely any utility for this CT side to work with into the late round, and no kit as well, you know. So this is the difficulty of the CT side. It is expensive. They've all gone in for full head armor as well, which is kind of interesting. Might sway a few fights in their way. You know, you got 2 Galils here, 2 MAC-10s. Those MAC-10s especially could be pretty deadly if it was chest armor. But I think this is a pretty conscious decision, right? Once you get to a certain point of play, you will, on that CT side, just go in for the chest armor. BJM not bothered, though. All too easy for him, and now just going to go barreling on in. He can afford to throw his life away, but the kills keep on coming. MDS melting down, but does not fancy sticking around. It's going to be a save for USA.
I don't blame them. I actually think they have to make this call. They look a little flustered in the early rounds there. Costa Rica have come in towards this, and they're laying down the gauntlet in the early stage. Kojo struggled to get active. He's yet to get a kill. Been an unfortunate run for him. And a tough spot that we're in at the moment. This is a crazy position where if Costa Rica can keep up this form, honestly, they could start to build up a real nice repertoire on this T-side. It has to be said as well, this is a T-sided map. It's a map in which the United States are very good on their T-side as well. You definitely can't sleep on them there, but I've seen so far what has been a really nice showing off from Costa Rica. Taking fights on the back of each other, playing the trades well. They spotted a few gaps in the armor towards the United States, and they're just punishing them. United States, on this CT side, probably coming in towards the next full buy. I'm not sure if they're going to force here, but in towards the next full buy, I wouldn't really mind seeing attack pause of some sort. I know it's normally seen as a little bit early, but I do just think they feel a little bit not quite themselves, right? I feel like they're maybe yet to wake up in towards this game. We've seen this before. We saw it against Colombia as well. That first half in their first series of this tournament, a little slow to start. Second half was really great, and then everything sort of slotted into place. But slow starting in a qualification game is a little risky. We are going back in for a buy, however. Kojo, I don't know. Does he have another drop? He might just be on the likes of a Deagle or a 5-7 if he doesn't have one, which is tough. Oh, in all fairness, he might. Yeah, I'm going to say, there you go. Goes to the 5-7. There was a temptation where potentially he could have gone for no buy to try and have the AWP out as much as, but even then, I don't think he would have had enough money regardless.
Ooh, Mata close to finding the first through that smoke. MDS, similar to last round, is lucky to stay alive after that. Costa Rica kind of know that there's got to be something coming their way, you know? This is not a team that will go quietly, and you sort of awaken the beast a little bit. We saw Team USA having a lot of fun against Honduras just because they were able to, but Costa Rica, I think, indeed have made them sit up, made them pay attention. Big find comes in for that first. Louis, we're digging for information, trying to get a cheeky bit of damage. Not going to happen, but they have conceded that dark control to BJM.
Yeah. Right now, one of the big issues that we have seen from the United States seems to be map control. They're a bit tentative to fight for it, and in doing so is becoming a little bit of a worry. Gabe, back plat. Not a hell of a lot on offer. Molotov will come in his direction, however, so he's going to be forced into a fight that he probably doesn't want to take. Doesn't have a smoke, so he has to opt to fight here, and JBC gets it freely.
Indeed. Lighter. On the edge of this B main angle. Louis, they've got to know about him at the very least, and he goes swinging into his demise. Still at the back end of the site, Kojo trying to be the hero, not quite enough. Definitely is doable. Bomb has yet to go down. 5-7 trying to close the gap. A difficult fight for the low HP MDS. He's all on shutout. A slow move in towards B here, as he's just trying to slip that net, and he might just get away with it. There's a barrel spotted off the edge of his screen, but yeah, he didn't see it. I think info definitely came in from a teammate. Lockdown 2. Where's this third? It is likely that he is down below. Got to guess the right side, and Lighter, he goes a bit too early. Shutout gets away with it on 9 HP. A big 1v3.
Never should be getting away with that. I mean, credit to him. Really well played. That 180 for the second kill is masterful work, but oh, a tough one. Tough one to lose for Costa Rica, because that's the in routes back in for United States here. The good thing is Costa Rica can just reinvest straight back in towards this next round. They haven't been expensive before, but that's a tough one to lose. It should be a 4-0 start, and they've let it slip away. That 180 there, that's a really nice shot towards BJM. This third two, shuts out for him. He catches him as he goes just, as you mentioned a little early, gets tagged, but not enough for the kill. 3-1. To say, stay alive.
All right, let's see. Costa Rica, their first defeat at the hands of USA. And it comes in a really unfavorable kind of round. You know, a really distasteful round. So we'll see what Costa Rica are able to cook up. A map that they too have had a little bit of familiarity with, but ultimately not as much as Team USA. T side of Anubis is maybe the big caveat that I will give them here.
B9, up close. BGM gets caught. Nice open and a smoke behind it. Slow it down. Shut out. Arthur is heroic to that last run. Gets caught early here. Tough. Tough to say the least. Smoke will come down. You're now going to play up close towards Pillar. Flashbang will come through to try and bait in a fight. And it dinks him up, in fact. He's a lucky man to stay alive. Oh, if they had an aid, he'd be a dead man walking, but they don't. So he's just lucky that he gets to just stay alive here. And it might actually be enough to potentially swing this round Costa Rica's way. Still a 4v4.
Hey, main smoke. That's pretty late, man. The bomb is here. But they are going to have to rush into things. Kojimo on the angle. It's the right idea. He's just a little late on it, unfortunately. Blow the smoke, though. We'll push them forwards. And Kojo, oh my god, trying to pull off the reload. Somehow staying alive. He has drawn them in. MDS manages to trade things back. Get that bomb on the deck, importantly. But the AWP will deal with him. It's down to Gabe and Louis. They're mollied out for the time being. Not much that can be done here. Gabe opting to go all the way around. JBC on the lurk. Leaves Gabe with it all to do. In the 1 versus 3. They aren't able to pin him down here. He's got a good read. Deletes the flank. Knows that there's one in at default. Where else is he going to be? It's a bit of a hard check, though. Beats the AWP. Oh, and XYZ is there for the trade. If he'd messed that one up, it would be another clutch situation. Still brought close. USA in this mid-round, though, getting caught with their pants down.
Yeah, another really good late round push there by Costa Rica. And that post plan effective from them too. 4-1 on the scoreboard. And once again, I'm going to put pressure on towards the shoulders of the United States, because I don't really know if we can buy here. I think, in all honesty, they've probably got to go for a bit of a lesser investment. And I think that's what they're going for. Half armor, upgraded pistols, and that's about it. Kojo probably keeps a little bit more cash on deck to sort of prioritize having an AWP out towards the next round. But ultimately, he's a good round on the T side. Looking pretty good, I think, for the United States. They're wanting to fight fire with fire and get up close and sort of brawl it out in a way, but it's just not working for them at the moment. Unfortunately, we are in a bit of a tech pause. We did lose JBC, but he is back pretty quickly. So, hopefully, back live in just a moment. So far, so good. Costa Rica, I like what I see. And, you know, this is a side who, first map against Guatemala really looked quite shaky. Looked shaky for like 80% of map 2, right? All the way up until they pulled that clutch back and then pulled it into overtime. And then ended up winning it, of course. And then, obviously, we're able to take that third map to get here. But they started super slow in that series. It took them way past sort of 50% of the maps played for them to get to a point of actually being comfortable. This time, they've come out the gates absolutely flying. Similar thing, though. United States against Colombia looked very slow out the gates. They still were able to put up a decent half, but it took them a while to play like the United States that we know. So I'm not going to read into this too much just yet. That second half is probably where I get a good look in to see what United States have got under their sleeve. You know, it's T-side on Anubis. That's where you expect teams to do their best work. However, United States can't allow Costa Rica to end this half in a really dominant fashion. I think if Costa Rica get anywhere near 8, for example, United States could be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, we'll see, man. MDS with the first. Quickly dealt with here, though. They do have this B main push coming in, and Team USA showing us what they can do given the chance. AK retrieve. Lighter not ready for another, and the panic sets in. Costa Rica's comms all over. Shutout finishes them on the other side of the map. Team USA out of nowhere with the relentless aggression there on all avenues of Anubis managed to take away the low buy. I think Costa Rica, as I say, losing their heads there and unable to pin it down, unable to find their shots, unable to help each other. Crazy.
Okay. This is pretty big for United States taking a round like that. It's going to really halt this momentum that was building up for Costa Rica. Low buy out for them. A tough spot where they're only on pistols. And even then, you know, like armor's a luxury in this situation. Upgraded pistols are a luxury, which some can't even afford. It's going to be a tough one, to say the least. Getting aggro here. United States looking for fights. They're going to realize nobody over towards A-Water. Looking towards stairs. And a carpet player already caught. Not a bad way to go about it. This is a great way to ISA fights. 1, 2, a third probably around this corner. That is flawless. Coming through from United States, not pulling any punches. And they make this a 1-round game.
Okay, here we go. This is where it becomes very, very worrisome, I feel, for the Costa Rican side. Huge threat now. As they have lost this team, they have lost this momentum that they had in the early stages, and I think, you know, it was a very big deal for them just to keep catching Team USA off, but now that it's flipped over a little bit, there's less of that going on. Team USA have focused up and are indeed getting used to the Costa Rica game.
Noisy, get a chance. He's holding for this push, but they are expecting him. Flash from shutout is brilliant. Gets a real nice simple one. Gifted on a silver platter. In a matter of moments, Costa Rica death down to 3 on their buy back in. Louis opts not to fight because they know at range they can just shut them out on the cross. It's a really good place to hold from, but a Molotov might meet them here now. Where do you want to play? In towards the flames, into the fight. Mata gives them a chance. As he gets a kill through the smoke, Kojo gets caught 1v2.
They're going to hear him running away here, though, I think. So Shutout going to try and get himself into a decent spot to
He doesn't have a bomb.
cut him off. Can be a bit hard. Yeah, it's pretty far back on this map. He's just not ready. He thought he'd maybe gotten away with it. You know, slipped through, not being heard. Not the case, though. Shutout in the perfect spot to make sure that that one does not get out of hand. Bit of decent damage, but you know, you want this T side up to 6 or 7, to be honest, and it's not looking as likely now. Team USA have found themselves, and they're actually looking at putting up a really, really good CT half hit.
Okay, all right. It's a good round, though, isn't it? From the United States. Look, so damn good. Smoke. Towards mid. The tap is good. All the damage. Oh, MDS gonna line them up and mow them down. Mid is closed, says MDS. Nobody's getting through. United States get a 5th with the utmost ease. Great work from the rifler as he gets gifted these kills.
Oh, looks nice in the slow-mo, I tell you what. There you go. MDS, lovely stuff. Costa Rica, again, really struggling to get going. You know, we were obviously seeing some of these rounds come close and going their way, but now Team USA have figured it out a bit, and they are back to their winning ways. Just needed to get the econ under wraps, and they've kind of figured, similar to the Honduras game, if we just sort of hold W, our sense of timing, our sense of, you know, two-man team play is just a hell of a lot cleaner. Watch the smokes. They're always trying something. 4v2, and it's just 30 seconds into the round.
Making a bit of a move again through water. Oh, gonna get caught. XYZ just bided his time. He'll get that kill. 2 versus 3, but a doable one. Now they've got the A site.
Yeah, we'll see. Bomb plan secured. And I think Team USA, you can see a bit tentative. They've got no info here, is the big thing. So, one player gets caught, which could indeed happen. Gabe just playing safe, not expecting XYZ to come round the corner, but still manages to find him lighter. With the off, they're a little early here. Ahead of the flank. Oh, it's so close. Almost that kind of, you know, laziness from Team USA, the lack of discipline. There was a flank coming in. No need to necessarily move out without him being in position, without him, you know, moving into the site and clearing that and going, yo, no one here, so he's probably camera. Nearly costs them, but just couldn't connect that final spray in the end.
Yeah, exactly. Well, once again, we're now starting to see... Honestly, in the mid-rounds, that back and forth is very spicy between these two. The thing that I want to see now as well is for Costa Rica, can we chain momentum in their favor? Can we get multiple rounds in a row? Because they're getting these close. They're getting the opportunities there, but the big thing that worries me a little bit, we saw it a little bit yesterday, was CT sides at times could be rough to watch from Costa Rica, and I want to see them probably get these last 2 if they can. I think you get a 6-all, you can be relatively happy. If you go anywhere down, you might be in a little bit of a rough spot.
Alrighty, let's see. Costa Rica, man, I think, for me, pretty excitable stuff here now. They still have this level, still have those few rounds to lean on. Hopefully they can bring things close here towards the tail end, but USA indeed starting to show us what they are made of. You know, that very, very close round, I think it's going to give Costa Rica a little bit of hope if they tap into it correctly.
All right. Smoke, we're going to go through this for XYZ. And he's going to catch off shutout again. He's done this a couple of times now. In all fairness, XYZ's getting good amount of mileage on the entry kills, but Mata going to get caught by MDS. Looking for a bit more of a fight, but actually Costa Rica going to dip away.
JBC hidden out towards B main. He's about all they maybe have here. Yeah, the move away from A main. I don't know. It's difficult. Once you start putting your resources in on Anubis, you kind of have to lean in. Unless, you know, you go mid and you can still pull back. But they have got no utility here. So I really don't know how I feel about this, right? There's no real way of them executing into a bomb site. Ollie comes out on the other side. JBC trying his damnedest to find the kill. He will draw attention as you look to the minimap, but for a brief second, I think they've very quickly communicated there's only really one guy from what we can see. MDS, good timing. The flash is brilliant. Can't quite nail it, but the nade might. Oh, somehow not. 4v2 rolls around here. Gem at the back end of the site. Does look clean. Unfortunately, not an awful lot to work off of. No teammates to lean into. And he will just be kept at bay. 10 seconds. Maybe needs to go down before time, and he sort of knew that. Threw himself at it. Team USA finding 7 now.
Yeah, and this, I think, really locks in and sort of confirms the good recovery out from United States. At one point, things are looking a little tough. 4-1 down. They were not really finding that form that they needed or wanted, and now we've seen them really flip things on its head. I think they're playing good Counter-Strike. They're playing off each other quite well, and they're putting Costa Rica into quite an uncomfortable spot with a buy-in towards the final round of the half. Even then, arguably might not even be sufficient. We've got a double MAC-10, a Galil, and a double Galil, I say, and an AK. I mean, it's just a real tough one to work with. Kojo has just spotted 2 in towards water, and they opt to fight. That's great proactivity from the United States, and immediately Costa Rica on the back foot, and it gets worse.
Gabe, oh, just go down. I mean, fair play to Lighter. That obviously wasn't a advantageous fight, but they don't have the bomb, man. So a bit of control is decent, but they don't have the bomb. Kojo, just spot the player out. A little bit of discipline. Fair play. Could have, again, just gone swinging around that corner, but he waited for his teammate to roll in behind, and now just Lighter. 1 bullet away from death. They know he had this B control, so a good idea of the approach he's taking. Easy for MDS. 8 rounds out from the CT side there from Team USA. A little bit of a struggle to begin with. We often speak about the pistol being random, but a rifle round in there as well for Costa Rica. Some close clutches go against them, and then the momentum just swung so heavily in favor of Team USA for 7 in a row. 8 out of 9 won.
Yes, no, exactly. Exactly that. I mean, honestly, for the United States, they've set themselves up really well now. On the CT side, in this first half, 8-4, and now go on to the arguably more preferential T side with a lot of confidence under their belts. Before we get there, however, we are greeted with a tech pause. Something seems to be up. We saw, I think it's XYZ. No, it was JBC message dropped out a little earlier, briefly. So hopefully we can get him, whatever the issue is, fixed and all good. I've seen no investment come through, though, however, from Costa Rica. So my assumption would be that's maybe on their side.
Yeah, possible. I think we did have a player sort of drop out at one point. Yeah, okay, here we go. So Mata is gone, but also still sort of on the server, so not quite sure what the deal is. That's usually a bit of a timeout bug. Immediately back in, though. So, you know, not really complaining too much. Maybe just a little bit of loss. Maybe we've got some slightly dodgy connections or kind of PC workings. Counter-Strike 2 at the moment is still a little shaky on some systems for sure. Either way, not too much of a waiting time here now. We should be into this pistol quite quickly.
Yeah, back in the server, at the very least. Alrighty. Hopefully, get this one started in a second. 8-4, however. If United States take a pistol, we're in a hell of a lot of trouble for Costa Rica, where they're really on the back foot, and it could even lead to an uncomfortable spell where maybe we're talking about this map being in a little bit of trouble for them too. Let's see. Not out of the equation here, Costa Rica, but they are starting to verge on that narrative at the very least. This pistol, super important. They got a really good pistol to start off this map, however, so going 2 for 2, that'll keep them afloat massively.
Okay, here we go. Can Costa Rica hold the line? It's going to be a speedy move towards the outside of A, towards this water area, but nothing much coming their way. We've got 4 in on B. We actually have a Deagle in play, it sounds like. Either way. Yeah, a bit of a wild one here. Maybe... Oh, no. Okay, that's a bait out. I was going to say, where the hell is the Deagle? I'll come back to it in a second because we've got a fight going down. JBC manages to find the first head. Fighter in towards jail here, looking decent as he finds himself a clean frag. 5 versus 3. Costa Rica in a good position. The bomb has not really made any tracks on towards the site. JBC a little trapped, but just really has to play the safe game. He draws on some attention, draws on some backup. BJM will indeed kind of bail him out. And there you go, they make it away. So just 2 remaining for USA here. Not giving up the chase of the fight just yet. It's Gabe with the bomb on his belt, trying to find a clean headshot, and he does so. Brings it down to just 2, but there's only 1 on the A bomb site here now.
Bomb. Might not even get the luxury of going down. No, they will actually give him that space. They could have denied it there, but they'll catch him after. P2K. Kojo now thrust into a tough 1v4. Has the first. For the second. The P250 not connecting. Oh, it does for a second, but it's not enough for the other two. Costa Rica. Back to back. Both pistol rounds, in all fairness, taken quite comfortably. That one, you know, bar Kojo, I guess, getting that second. Never really felt like it was in any doubt. All right. Pretty sick. Pretty sick indeed. Costa Rica, they'll keep themselves afloat. They now get to put a little bit more of that pressure on towards the United States. However, on the other side too, with a bomb plant and the kills they picked up, we could look at a reinvestment coming through from the United States, which I'd expect. MAC-10s, Galils, bits of util, and all the rest. So I think that's at least something that they could definitely opt for. It looks like it's sort of a... It is a full buy, but it's not exactly as many MAC-10s or Galils as I would have thought. We've got 1 Galil, 2 MAC-10s, a Deagle out for Gabe, but an AK out for MDS. So I guess they get that. Which at the very least is not too shabby.
Yeah, just want to mention as well in the previous round, they bought like that decoy when they'd bought a Deagle, and then you refund the Deagle, but the decoy keeps the same sound, right?
Yeah.
So I was obviously a bit confused by that for a second, but just in case people out there are wondering... Weird little mind game. That is about as clean an aid you are going to get. MDS, yeah, 63 points of damage. I think it's about 65 where they usually top out. But getting that amount of damage is pretty difficult for sure. So, clean finds onto MDS thanks to that nade. However, JBC has made his bed. He's in deep here. They know that he's around. Free fire coming in. He gets one. Which I think is fair credit. Obviously keeps the dream alive here. MAC-10 towards mid. A difficult fight. But just about won by shutout and the positional advantage. Mata trying to get on the edge of the smoke. Unfortunately, it was going down. Not a bad idea. Maybe if that smoke was 5 to 10 seconds later. Not going to happen here. Cut-offs all around the shop. And USA, they win out the force.
Oh, man. And that's a tough one as well for Costa Rica. Because they don't get a choice and they have to reinvest in. And it's going to be so awkward as well when you look at it. I mean, the buy that they can probably bring is not going to be that healthy. Tough spot, losing in that sort of a round. But that's where allowing United States to even get that bomb plant and the pistol has actually come back to bite them. They probably could have denied it as well. That Heaven player could have wrapped in, could have got that kill. I think it was Mata off the top of my head with the P2K. Could deny that bomb going down. Doesn't opt to. Plays it a little slower and it allows USA a buy-in towards this one, which then spirals into them winning a round 2. I'll flash over, barreling in towards A main. No one's here. It's eerily quiet. They're going to drop all the util, and then they're going to realize, actually, yeah, no one is actually home. Bomb goes down, and that again is just the round. And arguably as well, Costa Rica might even just go for a more or less full save.
JBC does manage to get that first rolling in, though. So we'll see. We'll see. Full save might be an idea. But they feel a bit confident. I think they've got a couple members who are like, we can't get in, let's save. They've got a couple other members who are like, we're pretty close, let's go for it. So there is a crossover here, for sure. Hardly any time now, though. And it is ultimately just sort of the lower weapons looking to try and give it a go. But they're all going to join in. You know, team-based decision, I suppose. You can see it's all over the place, though. Timings are completely off. Nobody close enough to trade. It is a mess. It is a mess. And they all end up going down apart from Lighter.
Wow. All right. This is now getting really dicey. I mean, it's one of those, I think once they lose a site, I personally would have preferred if we had just seen, you know, a full save, or maybe even 1 or 2 players nearby, but at least 3 staying alive, because at least you can then just reuse those guns until the next. But they don't. It's tough, and now they've got nothing in towards this round, but 2 upgraded pistols, 3 upgraded pistols, 2 flashes. It's tough. It is really, really tough. United States should get 11th here. They're so close to the finish line where we're at the moment. I don't know if Costa Rica have it in them to be able to pull this back. Nade will come over and does a little bit of a chunk towards BGM. Doesn't go as low as they would have liked. This time they go for a quick pop towards B. Once again, script. No one's home.
Indeed. However, Louis will be the first one to go down here. MAC-10 wants some money. Nade going in. Nearly finds the kill. He's surviving though. Shut out on this MAC-10 has been a menace in the past few rounds. Feels like he's been on the MAC-10 like all half. Either way, Keeps him coming. Him and Kojo making cash. Ola, XYZ, and BJM. All that remain, the AK retrieved for a brief second. Maybe need someone to get over here and make the most of this AK being dropped. Looks like it ain't going to be the case, though. They are just leaving it. And, oh, no, wait. Got some technology here. MDS got to be careful he doesn't go down to the bomb. And also really making a mess out of shooting that AK down. But it does make it into the hands of one of the Mac 10 players.
Yikes. 2 more rounds for United States to close this out in what has been a comfortable fashion. Because if we're looking at this in a grand scheme, Costa Rica have taken both pistols. And to only be on 5 rounds now with United States barreling down and closing this map out, it isn't actually a good look if you think about it. If United States taking those 2 pistols, we could be looking at something like a 13-2, 13-1. That's just how dominant it could have been. The pistols have kept Costa Rica afloat, and then even still, not making this a close game. 11-5. This buyback in could be for all the marbles here. Lose this and they could be in a lot of trouble. Shutout going to find that first. Macteng around the corner. Back turn. Mata, don't turn your back on doors. That'll cost you your life.
Here we go. Louis charging in. BJM maybe should have had that one. I think he was just sort of holding mouse 1, hoping that someone would walk into his bullets. Not going to happen. Bomb going down. Team USA locking in 12. Lighter and JBC, no choice, no options. They will have to save this one out. And Team USA, there's been a few bumps on the road. But it's still looking to be a pretty one-sided affair here.
Kojo, gonna hunt as well. I think the hunt's the good call. If he dies, it doesn't make too big of a difference, but if JBC dies, it does. Gabe will catch Lighter. They know where JBC is. Nade'll come through. Both of them are here, actually, in all fairness. Another CT player, which should get the trade. And they will. 12 now for United States. Oh, my. Costa Rica, look at the spot that they are in. I mean, even getting a buyout here. I don't even think they're going to get premium rifles out. I mean, that's how bad it is. I think at the very most, maybe a FAMAS, a few MP9s. If they want full util, somebody might even have to dip in towards just an upgraded pistol. So, a tough spot. It goes without saying. A good call to hunt there. I think it's the right call. The United States, they just need to make sure there's nothing left in the locker. And yeah, not even a premium rifle. Only the double FAMAS and the triple MP9. Costa Rica on the brink of losing map 1.
Yeah, looking more and more likely as it goes on, of course. We'll see. There is a defense on the cards. Have seen teams do more with less. Quick burst towards mid, though. Big gap over there. Smoke goes down. Results in the first. A cheeky move from Shutout. I'm not sure that one's going to do him. However, JBC caught on the backside. Team USA confident and coordinated to turn tail towards B. No one's going to be around. It has been evened up. No kit available. An upgrade of an AK for BJM is about all that they really have in my mind. Bomb going to go down. The nade isn't close enough here to dish out some damage, so it looks good for Team USA. They still have some flashes. That Molotov in particular, well placed. Could make a difference here. Slowed down as it gets into the post plant. Flash comes over. MDS incredibly blind. Gives his position away at jail, but XYZ going to deal with him in the end. The return utility is not bad. It's this AWP of Kojamo. However, that is not smoked off. That is a very, very slim find, and he will get it done with that Tech 9. Clean in the end from Team USA, as that second half in particular looked absolutely unstoppable.
Yeah, really, really well done. I mean, Kojo at the end, brilliant kind of run out from him. Those 3 kills, clean to close. But United States as a whole, that is a really solid show. And there's a lot to like. They've really looked comfortable. Their Counter-Strike play on the gun rounds, for the most part, was super, super clean. And like I was saying, if it wasn't for those pistols, Costa Rica don't actually even compete in that map. The pistols kept them afloat, and that's not a good thing, right? I mean, it was a 13-5 with both pistols, so it doesn't really tell a great story in the end. The bulk, if not basically all of the gun rounds, going more or less one way, bar that 4-0 start that came through from Costa Rica. What a showing, though. from United States. When it looked for a moment like they were on the back foot a little bit, they win on a bit of a half buy. It then spiraled so positively. This clutch from shutout was massive in this instance and really did kickstart that campaign for them on that CT side, which ended 8-4 at the half, which I think for me, 8 rounds on CT side is really, really solid.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think, again, that's going to be another thing we talk about, where these teams are at, the sort of semi-pro level, maybe even if that for some of the countries, right, where, yes, they can shoot back, but when it comes down to the finer details of being a team, that's both sort of on the server and out of the server, if you will, and I think losing a big clutch like that in a game that felt like it was sort of in your hands at that moment. You were in control of things. You lose that 1v3, and is there going to be someone in there with the experience, with the voice, and with the ability, ultimately, it is a skill to be a leader of men, and I don't know that Costa Rica are necessarily going to have someone like that. So I think from that moment, you can see the slow sort of downfall of losing a couple more close rounds, and then eventually it just became a dominant sort of circus from Team USA, really. You can see it here across the board. Kind of wild that we have 3 on 9, I suppose, if you want to look at it from that standpoint from Costa Rica. But other than Lighter, nobody really able to compete in terms of the raw numbers. Yeah,
no, exactly. And that's the big thing, I think, for Costa Rica. It was just across the team where things were looking a little dicey. I mean, credit to Lighter, in all fairness. I highlighted him coming in. He had a real good couple of moments in yesterday's series, and he did step up in a big way there, but he just needed a little bit more support. And in the end, it is actually just such a clean map out from the United States and sets themselves up so nicely in this series. Of course, it's an opponent's map pick next, which I guess you can look at it in the sense of an opportunity for Costa Rica now coming in towards this. Maybe they can kind of respond in kind, set the tone a little bit themselves, potentially even push it towards that decider. But the big worry for me is that United States, I just think in terms of the raw mechanics, looked so comfortable, so clean. And if they play like that, I don't know if you can compete. Even if it's a map in which United States are a little bit uncomfortable with, they can just fall back on the fundamentals.
Yeah, that is definitely the way that it feels. Again, it took them a bit of time to get going, maybe only a handful of rounds, but it was enough to make us think that Costa Rica could indeed fight back here. Not the case in the end. Team USA, they indeed had to put maybe a better foot forward than they were expecting, so things could get a bit interesting moving forwards now onto our next map. We're going to take a break before we get there, though, folks. We will see you very quickly on Inferno. Hello, everybody. Welcome back in. We are looking down the barrel of that second map. Costa Rica got off the ground early, but crashed quite quickly. Could not pick themselves back up, really. Bit of pistol prowess in there is maybe something to lean on. Maybe that will help them out as we now move on to their map pick. But at the end of the day, Team USA, although a slow ramp up for them towards the end, getting onto that stronger side of Anubis, they were just an unstoppable force. A couple close rounds in there that maybe stressed them out, but ultimately they were too much to handle.
Yeah, it does go without saying that we are worried, right? I think that is kind of the ultimate way of putting it, where we're concerned with what he's seen so far, just because it has been a really, really good showing coming forward for United States. Probably like 95% of the gun rounds just look so clean for them. A couple of them came down to clutches and whatnot, but the big issue is that just Costa Rica didn't offer us enough, I think is probably the way I'm going to put it, to come in towards map number 2 and say, they might have a chance here, or they haven't given us any insight yet of where we can build up a narrative about map number 2 going in their favor. And I think that's the big thing for me. I need to see, once again, in a similar vein to how they started. They started actually quite well. 3 rounds off the rip, 4-1 up scoreline, a decent little back and forth there. That was okay, and then it fell apart. They lost the half 8-4 and then dwindled a lot in the second half. I need to see them come in towards their map pick and set the tone real early. I need to give us something to latch onto, so we can sort of build a narrative and say, right, this is how they're going to get in towards this game. This is how they're going to make United States feel uncomfortable, because so far they really haven't. There was a brief period at the start where a few rounds in a row, but ultimately it was 3-0 then 4-1. It wasn't exactly the most damning thing in the world. Shutout got a nice clutch. It then broke the econ and everything and slotted into place for United States. They didn't call any timeouts or anything, so you could tell they weren't feeling the pressure. And of course, the United States are one of the few teams who have a coach who can help them out as well. So it is, a pretty big thing to have alongside you having that coach who can really give you a little bit of an insight and all the rest. I have to see them come in towards this and probably get, at least in kind of the first maybe like 6 rounds, get a good 4 of them, and then be able to try and build up can have something out of this, set up a decent start on towards this first half. I'm assuming they'll start on T side, which I think does lend in towards their favor a little bit. They want to build up that narrative of they're better on the T sides, and the tempo they like to play is quite quick at times, which can catch teams off guard, but it's tough, right? I think is the main thing. The gun rounds were a little bit awkward. They were having individuals like Lighter who was getting good kills, but they just weren't able to, as a team, close out the situations they were in.
Yeah, no, it's very true. It is very, very true. I think, you know, again, it might be an area that they can lean on, an area that they can sort of work with, but can that drag them through to a victory? I'm not so sure against Team USA. It might be the case in some of the, you know, earlier games over in that Group B side of things, a clean game against Ecuador, a well-fought game against Guatemala, but ultimately Team USA are going to be this bridge too far. I think that's kind of what we've seen, at least out from the first map. And again, we talk about the way rounds unfold, the way that they go. When it came down to those sort of high-pressure moments, because there were actually a fair few of them, it's not like the entire journey was completely dominating, which is what we've seen from Team USA in a fair amount of their campaign here at IESF. But when it came down to those harder moments, those closer moments, I think that ultimately Team USA are able to tap in, and they've just got that extra sort of gear that they can go towards where it's like the comms stay super clean, nobody panics, they know how to work around, you know, a certain teammate, feel confident going into a clutch because they've done it so many times, whereas Costa Rica, a lot of those moments for them looked like they were just getting caught off, unfortunately.
Yeah, sadly, that is just how it is, right? We should be heading in towards the game in just a moment, and I think basically what we're trying to say here as we head in towards map number 2 is that we need to see a little bit more. I think is just the ultimate way of putting it. Just a little bit more out from Costa Rica to give us a chance heading in towards this. I need to see them set that tone early in towards this first half. Get a strong first half as a whole. Build the foundations for the second and all the rest, because United States, they are going to feel comfortable across every map in this pool. Inferno, Mirage, they're going to know this, you know, as well as basically most people, right? This is a map in which, of course, they'll play 1,000,001 times in their pogs. They'll have it as a pretty heavy part of their scrims and pracs and all the rest. I don't think they're too upset to be here on Inferno, and it could be more of the same. USA starting on that CT side. Let's see what Costa Rica have got for us.
Gabe, way here in towards the middle. I think he may well have seen two down there at the bottom, so it will solidify their thoughts here of going in for the 4A to begin with. They bank on the A play. MDS is over there in Banana with all the utility in the world, right? Holding kind of the crack angle, get the smoke down if it's needed, but it looks like it isn't going to be needed, to be honest. So we'll see. The slow encroachment out long hauls is not a bad idea for Costa Rica. They do have a touchdown flash available, but that's going to have been seen, right? So I don't know that they necessarily will get caught off by it. Louis indeed finds two out on the backside. He will eventually be traded down, but has done enough, it feels like. Bomb going to go down. Head rolls quickly. And USA, this time they take the pistol. So Costa Rica not going to have that clean start to their own pick that they so desired.
Okay, all right. Fuse comes through. I mean, I guess Costa Rica getting a bomb pawn out of that is a small thing. We could buy here. I think we probably should be buying here as well. And it looks like they are. Galil's picked up Mac 10, MP7, in fact, by Mata. Not often you see the MP7. It basically only seems to be nerds, really, who uses it, at least at the pro level. Is a gun that in the right hands can be quite scary. However, they've all refunded. So maybe we're not buying. Yeah, we're not buying.
Indeed.
All right. I mean, it's maybe a safe call in the sense of let's get a true full buyout in towards the next. But I think when you've got a bomb plant, I can fully justify the want to buy here. XYZ gets so lucky. Shot for the smoke. Lana was perfect. Kojo just gets caught. What can you do?
Indeed. That is how it goes from time to time, the deadly nature of the Deagles. So just got to keep themselves cool here. Not sure this is what I would define as a cool move from Shutout. 1-for-1, not quite the best. Gabe gets in position in the nick of time to stop Mata solidifying a spot there on A, and Costa Rica not really close enough to get him traded out. Nice information dig here for Gabe. leaving 2 remaining. So for just a second there, I was kind of worried. You know, shutouts, aggression. Maybe needs reining in. Again, these guys have proven themselves capable of shooting back. So I do indeed get it from Team USA. They love a aggressive move. They love playing confidently, but maybe solidify your lead before doing so.
Seen off MDS with a double. A couple of casualties, one through the smoke, the other as well, which won't really make too big of a difference to the mood over for United States. Pretty simple stuff for them. Good money as well for the MP9, I think, is another thing. Any kills are decent, but they get quite a few in this round too, which I think is just always good to have cash on hand and good for the reserves as well. And it does mean that the buy coming in towards the next 2 will also be pretty solid, right? We should get 2 more rifles to come out alongside it, and we do. Gabe, shutout. MDS with the M4s, still the double MP9s, just getting aggro, up close. Oh, he tries to transfer Kojo, and he'll get caught in the making. If he had just paused, braked, and then gone for a second little burst fire, he probably would have got both.
It's possible. It is possible, but not the world in which we are in. Shutout. Deep in behind. Enemy waters here. They seem savvy. There are 2 players watching him. Now 3. Lighter will take him down. Must have maybe been spotted or at least considered all the same. He'll take 1, I think, with the way they were set up and ready for him. You know, I figured he'd peek round the corner and bam, instantly dead. Just not ready to be taking a fight at that particular moment. Either way, 3-on-3. Costa Rica pretty far back is their only trouble.
Okay. Oh. So I see. Oh, he had a chance there to maybe catch MDS off guard, but he'll double back. He wants to stick around with the fight, though. And he gets 1.5, like 2 points of HP on BGM, but he will get a bomb plant out here. So that, at the very least, isn't bad. Winning at the 1v2, however, this surely a task too tall. MP9. Looks like it might be that first contact, and he will fall to the hands of Gabe. There's an upgrade there as well for the MP9. It's an AK and an M4 somewhere behind him. He'll get the AK. There we go. So, USA, first full buyout for Costa Rica. They overcome relatively simply. It will be a 3-0 start. Maybe even quite comfortably getting a 4th too. I know we got bomb plant. I know we got loss bonus. They probably have enough to buy in with here. But Costa Rica in a tough spot already out the gates. That round, the mid to late round, was a little janky. They had no information about where to go. They took a gamble on B and ends up being costly. And I thought they'd have enough, but they actually opt to once again play it a little bit safe. Half armor Tech 9 util. So that's when you have about 4k. But they didn't want to go to an AK armor and then no util.
Indeed, little awkward, I think, to say the least. But again, tough decisions for Costa Rica from a financial standpoint. Seems like they are, again, with the stakes picking up, you know, leaning on some slightly safer ones. JBC around the corner, trying to find his first head. Few attempts at it, but unable to do so. Louis as well. Staying tentative here. He's got cover from Kojo. They'll force him forwards, and he didn't want to take those fights, did he? Only able to get away with one. Still set up nicely. Banana, meanwhile, not quite going to plan for the T side. Lighter still puts the fear of God into them a little. Onto the M4. Not enough HP to make it work, though.
Yeah. 4-0, though. I mean, for United States, basically every round so far, they've only taken, like, max 3 casualties. That one, 2. I mean, they're building up real decent stability over on that CT side, which is a worrying thing. We're back into a bye here for Costa Rica, which I think is at least a small positive, but they are in a tough spot. Definitely starting to feel that pressure. We do need to see, quite desperately, Costa Rica put a round on the board. A 4-0 start already for United States is looking really healthy on this CT side of Inferno. Louis, gonna play around mid. Need to come over towards second, but JBC slows down so it doesn't affect him.
Big nade damage onto MDS and easily finished off. BJM with a weird fadeaway. The flash fadeaway peak thing goes well for him. Lighter, meanwhile, trying to keep presence in the apartments, but Shutout has indeed done just that. This one doesn't look so good for Team USA, though. Costa Rica seem like they have a pretty solid upper hand to work with from here.
Right. Spray from Shutout. 1 for 1. Louis comes in for the trade and actually dips away back towards site. In this 3 versus 3, going to give him a chance. He might be heard jumping on towards the boxes. He'll catch him on the cross. There's the first. Looking for the second. Mata will catch Kojo. Both fighting simultaneously is the right way to go about this. He tries to opt for the flash. It will cost him his life. And now, we call upon Gabe in a 1v2. This one's tough. He's smoked out from Moto as well.
Yeah, not looking too good. However, could make their way in. Gabe surviving the spam. And there's so many smokes down on the site. It's going to make it work to wrap around. Drops the AWP, but that's maybe not who they wanted to find. You know, the automatic weapon's got to go down at this late stage. He's just going in for the hold, though, and not considered at all by Lighter. That is an oversight. Didn't realize it wasn't planted for him, really. And, of course, USA with the hold. Gabe with a keen 1v2.
It's a frustrating one to lose as well, because they had the numbers advantage in that post plant, and they just don't expect maybe the goal to go for a play like that. Credit, in all fairness, to Gabe. A decent game so far, but USA never should be walking away around like that. That's pretty damning on the side of Costa Rica. Really tough spot that they are in. Molotov traded in towards top and on, and they'll come over as well. A little bit of damage, but nothing too worrying. XYZ catches Gabe. MDS will trade. Might even get a second here as well. Up close, on the swing. MDS is so reliable.
Indeed. He has been looking very, very good from the top angle. Meanwhile, in apartments here, a push from Shutout. He has been slightly overconfident in places, but Louis is in a really good spot. He's in between them here. Getting a little bit weird. I think, you know, Mata is aware that it's like, okay, I'm going to make a lot of noise if I just go sprinting in, so I can't really afford to do that. Lighter, keen to check all his angles. Steps away. Louis not giving his position, but Lighter will keep checking it. The timing here from Louis is ridiculous. Lighter knew he was around, however. Manages to drop him. Bomb will join, and it should be the first for Costa Rica here. MDS, again, smoked off, and he's half HP. And it's not as crazy a situation over here in terms of all the smokes on the site and the like.
Still. MDS. He's close enough that he might want to give this a go. That motor smoke going to force him to pump the brakes. They're both tagged. They're both in that one bullet headshot territory. He has got a bit of time. Has a flash. Hasn't opted to use it just yet. Looking, he might be spotted backside here. He will be. Shadow betrays him. And Mata sees it off for that first round on the board, finally, for Costa Rica. That time, the A post plant in that 1 versus 2 works. And USA can't clutch out another. All right. Now we get to see the other side of things where potentially Costa Rica can spiral a little bit. We do need to see some consistency out from the side. No two ways about it. That's just a flash in the pan. I'm going to be even more worried. United States have taken a big hit in terms of the recon here, though. Buy isn't great. MDS onto a rifle. Double MP9. Double Deagle. Pretty tough.
Pretty tough indeed. But we'll see. Might be able to make it work. USA stacking up 4 on the A-bomb site for the time being. MDS has been very troublesome on B, and he's also the strongest weapon in the round at the moment, so in terms of resource management, kind of makes sense. Kind of makes sense if you're going to do it this way. They will start to move across to try and help him, though. Kojo on the MP9, so to be honest, in terms of the weaponry, that's a fairly legit B hold. It does look like Costa Rica will look elsewhere, however, trying to feign presence at the moment. Kojo rotating well, reading the situation well. MDS going to get this smoke down, no doubt. But it's just a question of when. There's a flash in towards middle. Oh, spam through the smoke. A lot of damage coming down, but Costa Rica unable to find that opener that they are desiring here.
Gabe posted with the Deagle. Got the support of the MP9 on the other side. This bomb wants to go towards B. It's only MDS here. He drops the smoke at the perfect time. That'll slow them down. We're just shy of 30 seconds. Costa Rica don't have a hell of a lot of time here. Now the rotates come over. Kojo going to get boosted up on towards plant part. It's the spam combo for both of them isn't good enough. So the site taken. Oh,
MDS is here. Drop that bomb. Only 10 seconds. It's a little problematic. They've got to try and get it back, and they all just go charging in. Kojo will drop it again. It's all down to Louis, and he spams away to find it. Goodness gracious. In the very dying moments, Costa Rica let it drop. It felt like they had the position. It felt like they maybe had the site. Unfortunately, not the case. It was all a ruse. It was all a bait, and it was a trap sprung by MDS in particular.
Yeah, definitely shouldn't be losing a round like that. You know, we had just shy of 30 seconds, and at that moment, there's only one player there, MDS. Kojo comes over to rotate to help out, but we still shouldn't be losing it. Oh, it's dicey, to say the least. Tough spot. Real tough spot. USA go back into winning ways. They get guns picked up as well. 3 AK scooped up too. Great for their funds. Getting that Molotov. My God, a lot of damage being taken. And DS wants to fight, and he will get one, but traded immediately.
First time we've seen an exchange go like that in a good while. Costa Rica may well look to use it. Limited utility this time, right? So less scope for faking, bobbing and weaving. Have to maybe just dedicate to one game plan. They have a smoke and a flash. That is it. And you can see here, Team USA might start to get a little doubtful of this. But not rotating anyone across just yet. Kojo is in on pretty good time. Only an MP9 over on B. A short push is pretty deep as well, keeping their attention. But, you know, Kojo, he smells a bit of a rat. He's like, I don't know, man. I feel like they would have dedicated a bit more. The contact still is going to work. It's a move from Costa Rica. Mata goes down on one side. Shuts out with the trade over there. Problematic. I'm going to go down, and the save comes through off the back of it, unfortunately. They have potentially guessed wrong. Yeah, maybe they are going to give it a bit of a go. It looked like they were thinking it was A. I don't know, maybe someone overcalls and says, oh, yeah, there's a couple here. But not the truth. Louis got this kit. They are going to try and move in, it would seem. No save. Actually, they are confident for this here 2 versus 2, but so much ground to make up. Molotov available. Good timing on it. Forces one out. It's all going to be down to Kojo, unfortunately. The molly sacrifice from Lighter did not move, but the new box angle, unbeatable. And Costa Rica get their second.
Yeah. Kojo, he was hoping that they would swing out, you know, BGM in towards backside and hope he would get the kill, but he doesn't. He plays patient, waits, and knows that as long as he doesn't move, that the onus is on Kojo to get up in his face and try and catch him. That's even with the timer ticking above his head. Wasn't possible. Kojo knows, so he just gets out with the AK intact. I think that's the right call. Keep hold of that weapon. We can semi-buy in towards it. It's not exactly the greatest investment, though. 1 scout, 1 AK, 157. And that's all we're wielding here. A couple of smokes as well, and a kit if they need. It should be Costa Rica finding a third, however.
Yeah, one would assume so. Keep your eye on the AK, though, and what he's able to achieve. I like the boost-up idea here. We're a big fan of this angle in the casting booth. Super, super successful. And particularly towards the end of Go, it felt like it was really popular. Ooh, Louis. Not a headshot, but I guess he was tagged up from earlier on. First frag goes the way of USA. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's not good. JBC does come round for 2. Maybe going to give them a chance into it. We'll see. Shut out. Picked up this AK now. Looking in for a bit more. Might even be able to get it all done by himself. He's definitely set it up. Couldn't quite track the last player. 1 versus 2 required for the CT side.
Okay. This is difficult now. They're going to fight here. XYZ gets the first. He's running low on ammo. Has to pull off a reload. Dips back into sight. Kojo doesn't rush. XYZ, are we going B here? Hello. It's actually a really good call, but it looks like Kojo's read this, and he's going to go via banana. That might be a bit of an oversight. It might not be expected. Kojo has a good idea here. Information gained off the sound cues. And he shift walks towards top of B. Bomb going to be planted. Again, Kojo doesn't rush. Hopes to catch him in transition. Kojo has played that to absolute perfection. What a round from the start. And he question marks, rightfully so. Brilliantly played. He read him like a book from back to front to cover, the whole lot, every page, the full stop at the end. I mean, simple stuff for him, right? Never in doubt for a moment in that 1v1. And considering the buy that they had as well in towards that, I mean, Kojo's the only rifle in this. It's a Scout, an AK, and a few pistols, and most of which aren't even upgraded pistols. The fact that we're talking about United States walking away with that round is pretty damning to Costa Rica as a whole. Bad one to lose. Again, just reaffirms the idea of how good the United States are here so far. They have been brilliant.
Kojo on the AWP. Oh, the nades blind his view. But the timing works for him. He already had the angle trained in. Just house wand at the right moment. And that might just begin to spell the end of this round for Costa Rica, to be honest. Banana aggression is pretty sound. The return nadage is absolutely massive, however. Still Gabe sticking around, playing with fire on that. Just about makes it out, but this B bomb site is incredibly vulnerable, and they've not rotated anyone across, so they're really, really banking on the fact that Costa Rica are going to back off now.
Let's say it goes eerily quiet. Smoke out towards long. Flash being set up for a short pop here. There's no one to pop off the back of this flash is the issue. JBC's not close enough. So Molotov comes down. There's nothing to be gained here right now for Costa Rica. They've done a lot of damage. MDS and Gabe both tagged up low. The bomb going towards B. There's 3 players from USA here to meet them.
Gabe does manage to find one. I think he will be happy with that given the HP. New box position just needs holding, really. Maybe even a little longer than that, you might argue. Kojo coming in. Cleanly found. Great target selection here, and you see how it pays off. A lot of players in that position would overface and try and drop the bomb. React to their instincts. He goes against it, finds 2, and may just have won the round out for his team. JBC, good swing for 1, but it's all he's going to get. Team USA moving up to 8.
Yeah, massive. Really, really nicely done so far. So good. I mean, I've been enjoying what I'm seeing out from them, but every single time it feels like they potentially go on the back foot. They find a way to make it so strong for them. I mean, now we're up to 8 once again. We were on 8, right? 8-4 on Anubis, and that's in which they, where they're able to pretty comfortably go into that second half and see it off. And it could be more of the same here. Costa Rica are still in a pretty damning spot. No two ways about it. At this 8-2 scoreline, they come back in with a bye. You don't get a bomb plot out here. You may have lost bonus, but it's not going to make a difference. It'll be an awkward one for the final round of the half. Quick towards top banana. Utility will chunk on towards XYZ. Contact out for Mata is an interesting decision.
Kojo not able to find anything else, but indeed a good position here for Team USA to work from. Ooh, a little awkward. Kojo does manage to find the kill onto JBC. Felt kind of close, but not able to lock him in. Gabe. Easy find onto XYZ. Costa Rica may be losing themselves a little bit here now. Very wild and wacky, maybe even desperate plays in this round. Not netted them anything thus far.
Big. What we're seeing at the moment, isn't it? From the United States, every single time there seems to be an issue. Once again, find it back in their favor. And this round, bit of banana control, tries to be taken by Costa Rica. And United States stick up for the fight. Kojo with a double, 1 for Gabe as well. And with 40 seconds left, I don't really know what Lighter and BGM can do here. They can just keep replenishing utility. Gabe, he will fall. Oh my god, how? How did none of them die for that long? BGM, he'll fall. Might be the same in a second as well for Lighter. He's being flanked regardless, so he's probably a dead man walking. He's a little bit of a lost soul as well. And he's going to be caught in the end. Little scrappy, little messy. United States don't care. Another round of the board for them. Now up to 9.
Yeah, blinds himself slightly, realizes he's got to get the bomb back. Whoopsie daisy, I suppose. It's unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate indeed. But either way, Team USA, it feels like they've got themselves a scoreline that they can just lock things in with from now. We'll see. Costa Rica, maybe when things swap over. But what we ended up seeing on Anubis is, you know, USA on that T side. Sure, it is a T-sided map, but I just think their ability to move in as a pack and take the fights themselves was really, really beneficial. Shut out. MDS getting aggressive. Everybody across the board having a bit of a go here for USA. Results in a 2-piece for them. They just have to watch themselves. Going in a bit deep. MDS still trading out from top mid. XYZ left low to a dink and finished off. Actually, no, it was Lighter that got picked up. I figured that's where that fight went down. It's in Banana where XYZ was left low. Kojo gets him. 10-2 feels like it is absolutely enough to close things out, get that qualification spot locked in.
Yeah, getting ever closer now to seeing this map, this series off in electric fashion. So I mean, 10-2, that sort of a scoreline. The recovery needed out from Costa Rica is nothing short of spectacular, and it's just not, unfortunately, what we've seen so far today, right? You know, map number 1 was a little lackluster, and we said we needed a little bit more, but we also said that we know United States will like to play on Inferno. They'll know how to play this map very well. It's just as common as it gets in terms of the map pool, and one which basically everybody has to have some sort of insight into, and we are seeing that now. Costa Rica, they've been pretty good on the pistols. We'll give them that, but we need another one here to even keep them afloat. You lose this, and you're probably buying back in when USA are on 12.
Yeah. Not a good look. Not a nice scenario that you have put forth here. USA, not wanting to play nice. Flash over the top doesn't do an awful lot. They will still try and swing in off the back of it, and unfortunately, nothing coming. 4 versus 2. Bomb going down, and with the digits punched in, I think also their card to Riyadh may well have been punched as JBC trying to keep things alive a little bit for Costa Rica. Clean find onto 1. Keep your eye on Banana and see what he's able to pull off, but Gabe gets the catch. All too easy. Just going to be Lighter. He's known about. He is spammed by those Julies. Team USA edging in an inch of the victory here.
Yeah, it's just so deserved as well. It just looks so clean. There really isn't any issues or gaps where Costa Rica can find fights in their favor. They just group up together. They barrel in towards that B side, and they make it look so simple. And that is sometimes how you've got to play these pistol rounds, especially on the T side. Just play as a pack. This sort of pack mentality that you can have, it's so strong against the CT sides. USPSs, they don't like being spammed the way Glocks do and all the rest. Nate, full stop car. The Eagle, XYZ wants to fight here. I don't know if that's a good decision. Molotov will come down, try and force them away, and they will. Just get out of there. They know it's not worth sticking around towards top car. They can't win out in terms of that firepower.
Here through the smoke is a little cheeky. They will be punished. The Zeus coming in. And here we go. Costa Rica giving themselves a round to be proud of on Inferno. Kojo all alone. Is that argument to just drop a few guns here and make life difficult into the next. Get himself some kill bonus as well. It seemed like he made a pretty conscious decision to go for the Max 10. He's spotted out. He is finished by the pre-fire on the P90. Will not stop shooting until he has to reload, of course. Costa Rica moving up to 3. And USA have given an olive branch across to their opponents here.
Yeah, I just think they're a little bit too keen to fight in that instance. They know that the buy wasn't going to be great out for Costa Rica, and they just try and show maybe a little bit too much disrespect in that sense. I think the best way to go about it would have been to take it slow. Obviously, it's easy to say that in hindsight, but they just get caught off guard. The Zeus, the fight that aren't really on preferential angles, and before you know it, Costa Rica are kept afloat a little bit. Will be a force back in response, however, from USA. You sort of have to. You don't really get a choice because you're in double eco. We've got a Galil. We've got some Tech 9s. And in all fairness, Tech 9s are pretty scary.
Very well-timed Molotov, however. That will make life difficult for these players. They're trying to go in for the burst, but just not going to happen. Kojimo on the backside with this Galil is the danger man for me. He needs his teammates to just stay alive. However, the bomb spilled into an awkward spot.
No.
Kojo is making it happen. And MDS on the two-piece. They could not keep it together. Over the top for Costa Rica. They go straight into the machine gun fire. USA flattening them to steal away number 12.
That's tough, right? I really thought the P90 could have got more than 2 here, in all fairness. He was kind of locked in, but pushing banana. Don't know if we need to do that. Kojo holding for it. Really good sort of heads-up play from him there. And there's the Tech 9 in the right hands. Just so scary. What have we got? I mean, at least Costa Rica are going to squeeze out a decent buy here, in all fairness. Up. Double M4. It is only BGM who takes a real, tough one, but then Mata instantly, one of those rifles, one of the better ones for Costa Rica, dropped in a matter of moments.
Yeah, if you're going to take that position, man, you got to be confident with it. You know what I mean? You have to go swinging in and take the fights. What's going on over here, then? Keep on a swivel.
Oh, no.
Auto shotgun in the app's going to catch the AWP. And yeah, it's turned a bit comical here at the end.
The P90, get one.
Feels like it is done for Costa Rica. Yeah, maybe give us one. Maybe sneak. Hello? Okay. That's a bit of a wild find. This round's just getting absolutely ridiculous. They know where he's at now, though. Just no chance. And down he will go to the P90 of all weapons. 2-0 in favor of the United States here in the North American qualifier. They will be our first team locking themselves in to the World Esports Championship in Riyadh. Super clean stuff coming round from them, of course, as to be expected from that team. But it still looks great nonetheless.
Yeah, credit to them, honestly. This is a United States side who are very, very strong. We knew this before the competition even started, but we knew it from day one. We saw them against Colombia. They looked great. They played fantastic Counter-Strike out the gates, and they made sure this entire qualifier, booking their spot towards Rio, they do not drop a single map. I mean, that alone is ridiculous. No side even got double digits against them. I think is pretty crazy. The most rounds the team got against them this qualifier is 8. I mean, that is pretty substantial. This is a side who just looked so good all the way through. There doesn't seem to be a lot of weaknesses for them in this region. It's going to be a complete different kettle of fish when they get towards LAN, however. They also qualified pretty comfortably last year, and things didn't end up too well just because that's how strong the World Esports Championships is. A lot of these teams coming through from Europe were super, super scary. We even have probably some decent teams coming through from the Asian region as well, which could be ones to keep an eye on. So they're definitely going to have to knuckle down now that they've booked in this spot. This is only step 1, right? You've booked in your spot, which is great. Now it's about making sure that you head towards the World Esports Championships with, you know, a solid map pool, decent practice coming into it. But because they're an organization, Perseverance Gaming, we know that is going to be the case, right? We know they're going to be working hard all the way up until November. So great work from them. Really impressed with how well they played this series. And that map in particular, 13-3 on your opponent's map pick, no less, was wonderful stuff. 18 kills for MDS, looked really good. Louis and Kojo on 16, both very, very clean. Ultimately, United States dominant and deserved of their spot in the World Esports Championship.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think, you know, maybe one of the sort of key things to consider about this Team USA side of things as well is just the fact that there is a lot of experience here. They have kind of been working together as a roster for a good while now, right? Sure, Perseverance as a name, not necessarily, but the core of this team in Kojo, Gabe, MDS, they've been together on Take Flight for a very, very long time, you know, coming up for just under a year. So just about a year, I suppose, for those guys, that they were on Take Flight, and there is a good amount of experience. Even before that, we have Kojo and Gabe playing together, MDS as well, actually, yeah, looking at it. So the core of the team has been together for a good while. I think maybe with the recent additions, there could be some difference here. There could be a pickup for them this time around at the World Esports Championship. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm quietly hopeful for what we've seen, and hopefully, indeed, as you've said, the time that they have working towards now, a few months, of course, and, you know, get everything ready. And it feels like it could be a pretty legit spot for this team.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm expecting big things out from them. However, it is only our first game of the day. We do have another one that'll be coming up somewhat soon-ish as well, as we got to book in one more team in towards the World Esports Championship. As simple as that. And it is going to be another bit of a banger. We've got Team Panama taking on Canada. Now, this one should be pretty interesting. Panama are a side who maybe if you come in towards this qualifier, we might not even expect them to have made playoffs. Canada were always expected, but Panama, it should be interesting. However, we're going to have to wait to see when that one does, how that one does go. We do have a pretty lengthy break. It's like 75-ish minutes or so. So you're going to have to sit tight. We'll be back here 70th minute or so. You can go and get some food, something to eat, a drink, all the rest. For now, though, we'll see you in like 75 minutes. See you in a bit.